Dear family and friends, do you struggle with procrastination? Do you desire to do things and you find yourself not achieving them? I want to share with you 4 quadrants that will allow you to think more strategically about your own life and how you view things and how you handle things. So I hope that this little teaching will be a source of blessing to you, especially as we conclude 2023 and think of 2024 and what's ahead of us. It's important to plan, it's important to prepare, and it's important to participate. But before you participate and do something, it's important to prepare and be ready for it. Okay, so that's where preparation meets opportunity. That's where success happens. So I hope you are with me so far. So get ready to ride with me and learn something new. Okay, thank you. There are 4 kinds of things that happen in our life, and I'm looking from my notes. The bottom left, so think of 4 quadrants. The bottom left quadrant, let's call it the quadrant of distractions. Okay, everybody faces that. Those are the aspects of our life and things that are not important and they are not urgent. So we categorize activities between important and urgent. This is again the thought process of Stephen Covey. Okay. He says there are some in the quadrant of distractions. What would you find? Some phone calls, which are distractions, some emails, some meetings, trying to do too much in a little time. That is another way to do it. Too many pressing measures, or popular activities, or enjoying hobbies at a wrong time. That's also very important. Nothing wrong with hobbies, but pursuing hobbies at the wrong time, it falls in the quadrant of distraction. Sometimes unexpected visitors. Yes, that's also a quadrant of distraction. Always rushing to get to places. If you're not leaving the house on time, then you find yourself rushing and then raging through the traffic. That's not nice. These are and many others fall under the quadrant of distraction. Please think about it. Now then, let's look right above the quadrant of distraction is what I call the quadrant of action. They are urgent and important aspects that require you to act upon. If you don't do anything about it, nothing is going to happen. So what falls in the quadrant of action? Crisis that happens around you, pressing problems, deadline-driven projects, meetings, unexpected family needs, unexpected health situations, unexpected financial crisis, helping a crying child, demands of a boss at work, always fulfilling the children's demand, or handling even a difficult client. These are what I call the quadrant of action. You have to act upon them. They are urgent, they are important. So the bottom quadrant was the quadrant of distraction. Right above the top left is the quadrant of action. Now let's look at the bottom right. Okay, is the quadrant of waste. It's not important, it's not urgent, and many activities fall in that quadrant. And somehow we lose our time and we end up procrastinating because we are not able to balance these 4 quadrants. So I'm going to explain to you the 3rd quadrant, which is the bottom right, the quadrant of waste. Okay, junk emails. Always going through your junk email folder, some phone calls, of course they're not necessary, some chat sessions, some social media conversations, complete waste of time unless you're listening to me. And this is, I think, a good investment of your time. Thank you. I hope you get the point. Longer lunch, long coffee breaks, unnecessary browsing on the web, right? Online chats with unknown people, too much sports, or always eating out, okay? Always listening to music or reading books that really don't help you in any way. Worrying about tomorrow is the quadrant of waste. Okay, sorrows of yesterday falls in the quadrant of waste. Think about it. So we looked at 3 quadrants. The bottom left was the quadrant of distractions. Right above it was the quadrant of action. The bottom right is the quadrant of waste. So distractions, action, and waste. Now let's look at the top right, okay? The top right quadrant. It is not urgent activity, but it is important. You have to act upon them. That is how it is, right? The a quadrant of actions are those aspects that act upon you. Okay, so I need to correct myself on that. The top left is the quadrant of actions, things that press upon you and act upon you. The top right is things that do not press on you, but they are important, that you have to take initiative. I have to take initiative and act upon them. So what is it? I call it the quadrant of responsibility. Very, very important. Preparation, time in prayer, prevention, reading the Word of God, fellowship, focused planning, building faith, taking care of your health, investing in your time and resources in proper relationships, spending time with your spouse or your kids or your parents. Really very, very important. They don't come to you as an urgent, but you procrastinate and say, yes, I'll do it, and then you always end up wishing that it would happen, and it never happens. It requires you to act upon them. That is the quadrant of responsibility, the top right. Acquiring new skills. Many people are not able to progress because they are not able to acquire new skills. It's very important to build yourself, invest in yourself, build new skills, acquire new skills, spending quality time with your loved ones, your parents, your spouse, your children, etc. Very important. Being accountable and responsible, that is really the quadrant of responsibility. So the top right is the quadrant of responsibility. The top left is the quadrant of actions. They force you and they act on you. Okay. The other one is that you have to take initiative, prioritize, and act on them. And the bottom left is the quadrant of distractions, and the bottom right is the quadrant of waste. Now let me tell you this, my dear family and friends. If we don't handle this right, then we will end up procrastinating. We will be not wise stewards of the time that has been given to us. Every one of us have the same number of hours and the number of days in a week or number of months in a year. All of us have the same opportunity. So how are you going to live differently in 2024? That is a very important question. Which quadrant occupies your life today? Do some self-realization. Think about it deeply. Listen to this little short teaching one more time and see how it applies to your life. Are you living your life in the quadrant of distractions? Are you living your life in the quadrant of waste, which is not important, not urgent things? Are you living your life by things that act on you, which is called the quadrant of action? They are urgent, they seem to be urgent and important, and they press on you and make you do certain things. Or are you focused on the quadrant of responsibility, things that don't seem urgent, but they are actually very important, that you have to take initiative and act on them? So I pray and I hope that this gives you some thinking points to think differently about your life, especially as we approach 2024. May the Lord bless you and keep you and make his face to shine on you and give you wisdom. Proverbs chapter 4 and verse 7 says, wisdom is the principal thing. So walk in wisdom. He who walks with the wise will be wise. So choose your company very carefully. Choose your time very carefully. Invest your time so that you can enjoy lifetime dividends for the decisions that you have made. At the end of it all, decisions determine your destiny. So make good decisions and have a fantastic 2024. God bless you.